Friday, my friends, and welcome to the WAN show.
The restaurant?
That's not even relevant. A joke isn't just supposed to be random. This is not Family Guy. This is the WAN show. This is a much better show.
There was a TGA Fridays in Norway, and that was weird.
That is kind of trippy.
Yeah.
Why would there be a TGI Fridays? I would think it would be
know.
like... I can't even... I don't even know what language they speak in Norway.
Norwegian.
They have a language?
It's like a slightly different version of... Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Anyways, we have some pretty interesting callouts, which Linus is going to start, I guess. Or not.
Yeah, right. So, good old game... Excuse me. GOG... They're not good old games anymore, because they have, like, Witcher 3 coming out on it soon or something. They have their own launcher, so they're looking to go up against Steam, as opposed to being a place where you can buy, like, you know, Hugo's House of Horrors. Microsoft is calling Windows 10 the last version of Windows, which either means they've kind of decided, okay, that's it, we've made enough billions of dollars, we're going to pack it in, we're all going to retire, we're going to take all the cash, divvy it up between all the Microsoft employees, and... Look, I mean, can you imagine if a company the size of Microsoft did that? If they're just like, yeah,
dissolved overnight.
You know what? We're done. Let's just, you know what? You know, Apple, for example. Let's say Apple decided, you know what? We've got $80 billion in the bank. It's more than enough money for the...
We make every single one of our employees, even like store-level janitors, just not have to work for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, that's enough. I mean, we earned this. Forget it. We don't need a Beats by Dre streaming service anymore. I mean, forget it. Who cares? Let them, get their music somewhere else, which is actually a topic we're going to talk about later, but you go ahead.
Anyways, Nintendo is looking into mobile games, or potentially looking into mobile games, which is interesting. And our last call-out isn't even really a call-out, it's a whole topic. Anyways, Tesla is selling used cars, and they're selling them by region. So that's pretty cool. And the whole topic.
Dang it, you gave... There was one piece of the topic left then, and you ruined even that.
Well, you could technically buy it from a different region, but
Way
when
to
you look
go,
on
Luke.
the store, you search by region.
You know, I haven't fired you in a while.
So I look for, like, Vancouver, and then you see that there's, like, a 5% discount.
And now you're
like,
even...
Wow.
You're elaborating on the one little piece of information that they were missing from the announcement video.
It's because it's Tesla. I can't, like... I can talk about this for too long, but this is the WAN show, so we have potentially more interesting topics to talk about. Potentially. Intro. It worked!
Yeah, I tested it. I think it's, like, lagging, though.
Oh.
Is anyone even watching?
Yes.
Oh, okay, good. I know. Twitch, at some point, they're gonna fix... Sorry, sponsor... Linda!
Whoa, learn things!
FreshBooks!
Yeah,
account for things.
Yeah.
Massdrop, buy things!
Buy things!
With the money that you made!
So you learn stuff, start your own business, and run the accounting for it, and then buy stuff with the money that you made
This
from
is
that
a
business.
highly disturbing trend that I'm seeing from you, is
but-
trying to tie all of our sponsors together, and then...
No, seriously, if you tie in Dollar Shave Club as well,
and
you
then
can look professional.
throw them
when you
off an
go to the
integration
jobs.
cliff. That's what you're doing. You're drowning them all. You're throwing them in the water all time.
Drowning them all in success.
Can you imagine? That would be a great channel, Superfun. Swim while tied together.
You'd have to do it in a pool that we wouldn't die in.
Yeah. We'd have to have like you'd have to have kind of I don't know what you'd have to do. You'd have to have like ropes tied to you that people at the side can like literally pull you right out of the pool if like something
And
goes
we could
south.
put like carabiners on them so you could disconnect from people if it really became bad.
Yeah, but like, so you make teams, right? And each team has to choose the way that... So okay.
So like if you're going to do the butterfly or whatever?
Yeah, so you do multiple heats, right? So each team gets to choose. So let's say we have 3 teams, right? We got 7 people who work here. Someone's going to have to operate the camera. So you got 3 teams. Each team gets to choose a way that everyone has to be tied together.
Oh my god.
So you do 3 heats.
Oh no.
Right?
So you can swim however you want, I guess.
Yes. But if Team L, for example, says, okay, you have to be tied together at the waist, side by side, then everyone has to do that once.
Oh my god, we could have Team L because we have 2 L's, Team N because of 2 N's, and then Team T because of a T and an E.
You're determined to ruin this show today, aren't you?
Sorry, that actually sounds hilarious, and we should probably do that.
So why don't we kick off with some community announcements? We'll have to find a pool that'll let us film at it. I was trying to take a picture of my son at his swimming lesson, and they were like, no. And I was like, oh, yeah, I guess I get that. Because, like, yeah, it's a camera and stuff. But, like, I was clearly,
if you
like...
rent part of a pool...
Can you rent a pool?
I think so. Because I think you can book a pool just like you can book, like, a movie theater.
Okay, we should look into it. It sounds like an expensive Superfun. I think Superfun is probably going to get to the point where we're going to start to rely on something like Patreon for it. Because, quite frankly, we haven't figured out how to monetize it. We just lose money on it.
We lose money every time.
We do it because it's fun and because we like it and because we think you guys like it. Yeah, like, there's a lot of reasons we do it, but money is not one of them. Like, Linus Tech Tips, straight up, is the swimmer with Channel Superfun tied to it. And, like, swimming in the opposite direction. Because even something like buying the life-size soccer ball thing that I was rolling around inside for the upcoming video, which is going to be fun, by the way.
Most people don't know about that.
Yeah, that's coming. If you follow on Instagram, you'll have seen a picture of the ball. Even buying that ball, it's like $60. That's more than we're going to make on Google AdSense on that video, to be completely frank with you guys.
And then the whole company was out for like 2 hours, I think.
Plus, someone's going to spend 4 or 5 hours editing the stupid thing. Like, that's the amount of money that we just throw in a fire every time we make a Channel Superfun video. But I think that if we did, like, Patreon funding for it, where we kind of went, okay, every time we make a Channel Superfun, you guys pledge, $2 or $5 or whatever. I haven't looked that closely into Patreon. They've contacted me. They've been like, why don't you use Patreon? And I was like, well, because we run a lot of advertising on our content, and I think
we do a video every day, so if you're contributing per video, that'd be a lot.
Yeah, so unless people are, like, Patreon contributors for, like, 50 cents, they're gonna feel like we're, like, giving it to them pretty hard, and people already give us monthly contributions. We already have a mechanism for that, which keeps our website afloat and, pays for the much more expensive servers that we have now compared to the one that was running off a test bench in the office at NCIX that I could throw USB drives at.
For a little while.
Yeah, it was awful, wasn't it?
Bad. It was really bad.
We have, like, a real server and a real data center now, and we have, like,
nice.
Real monthly software package subscriptions that keep the whole thing running smoothly. It's amazing.
It's great.
Anyway, I think something like that could make sense, but, yeah, we'd probably need you guys to help with it or something, because I'm thinking the cost of, like, booking a pool for a couple hours, we need to do something like that. It's not going to be cheap.
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't we move into our first topic of the day? And we can do that as soon as I plug in my HDMI cable and
we didn't test that.
Sincerely hope that it works. Otherwise...
blue screen.
Oh, I am not hoping for a blue screen. We're plugged into the Blackmagic Intensity right now.
Oh dear.
Yeah, so that blue screen
that's legitimately
could
scary.
could straight up happen. So our first topic is why Microsoft is calling Windows 10 the last version of Windows. The original article here is from The Verge. Look at that. Why is the webcam? Right, because Seb was here last week. So why Microsoft is calling Windows 10 the last version of Windows. Now, to be clear, the joke we made earlier about maybe they're just packing it in and they're going to give all the money to all the employees and tell them to retire, that is not what is happening. Instead, it's going to be... there's been rumblings of Windows as a service for a long time now, but there's no confirmation necessarily that that's what we're looking at here. But what Microsoft is saying is that Windows 10 is going to be the end of the huge monolithic Windows releases every 2 to 3 years and the beginning of much more nimble, rapid updates, and not necessarily to the OS as a whole or even as a piece of software. Because an OS is not a whole.
Oh.
But even to just individual components of it. So, for example, they could update something like Xbox, or they could update Mail, for example, and they could continue to evolve the functionality of the OS with smaller updates over time. And now they have set a precedent now for Windows 8.1 users getting, or Windows 8 users getting the update to 8.1, which I still maintain was not a new OS. I don't even understand why they called it anything other than 8 Service Pack 1. Anyway.
Even 8.1, just have the messaging be like, Service Packs are gone. Now it's a decimal point.
That would have been fine.
Yeah,
I would have understood that. Like,
Yeah.
why do we insist on just insisting it's a different operating system, but there's an update to it? So, like, no, just stop. Anyway, Windows 10, though, they're offering a free update, and I guess you can also roll up to Windows 10 from 8.1. And you can even revert it, which is not the same as any Service Pack I've ever seen.
I thought that was awesome. Anyways.
So Windows 10 is the first time we've seen them roll out a major update for free. So I guess the question here is, are we going to see 10.1, 10.2? Is that just hilariously close to Apple's OS 10 with iterations? Is that what they're going? That actually just occurred to me. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, it is actually pretty funny.
Every operating system will now be 10. Android 10 point M&M and Nair.
I wonder if they'll just get rid of
not a dessert
public naming like everyone else seems to be doing with everything, which is like not okay with hardware. But anyways, I wonder if they'll just get rid of public naming, because eventually, if they keep iterating like they did with 8, so 8.1, and then keep going on from there, they'll eventually run out of numbers. Like they actually ran into with Windows 9, where their internal software stuff went above and there's stuff that they could have done.
And like Apple ran into when they ran out of cats. No, really.
Yeah.
That's why it's Yosemite. They ran out of interesting cats. I mean, they could have gone with, like, OS 10 Tabby. but I don't think anyone would have been that impressed.
It comes with a quilt and, like, knitting needles.
Or when you buy the entire ecosystem, then you get like a free upgrade to OS 10 Cat Lady.
Comes with a cat sweater and a cat bed, which they won't use, and it comes with 4 cardboard boxes, which they will use.
That's right. What are we even talking about anymore?
I don't know. We were talking about Windows 10.
Right. Okay. So, yes, it's unclear how Windows as a service, like if you were to have to buy a subscription for it, will play into this. It's unclear if they plan to monetize it through the App Store, if they plan to finally do a way better job of that, which is what would be required for them to monetize Windows through the App Store in any meaningful way. I personally am kind of looking at it as like, okay, well, maybe we...
Also, thank you to Lord Sparklebottom.
Yes, for posting that topic. I can see them not necessarily charging for Windows, but kind of subsidizing Windows development with OneDrive, your OneDrive subscription, and with your Office 365 subscription. But it seems like you're so far away from that.
And I would personally rather be able to use whatever version of those services I wanted and have it integrated so that I could easily do that and just pay for Windows.
I mean, the fact that Office 365 stubbornly insists that I use OneDrive for cloud save means that I just straight up don't use cloud save, because OneDrive is just not as convenient for me to use as Dropbox. So
we do use cloud save. We just use the local file manager to save it into the Dropbox folder instead of the nicely integrated cloud save feature, which should be open to everything.
Which exactly, I understand.
We're even paying for that.
Yeah, I am paying for Office 365. So if I decide I want to use a different cloud storage service, you know what? I should be allowed to. I should be allowed to use Apple's cloud storage if I feel like it. So yeah, I mean, I guess unless they can find a way to make everything so neatly and beautifully integrated that I don't even want to use anything else, then
sure,
we're a long way away from that. But
it's not there.
There's little stuff that Microsoft just still doesn't get. Like, someone thought it was hilarious to sign up my Hotmail account for... they used one of those, I mean, it's not like this is exactly a new prank, but they used one of those pages where you can sign someone up for, like, daily inspirational Bible verses, and you can sign people up for, like, boatloads of them at once, very conveniently, with sites like this. So I don't actually monitor the email account, So I didn't realize until I fired up an old smartphone that I haven't used in a long time that happens to be logged into that account, and I was watching a video on it, and I was hearing notifications like every 5 or 10 seconds. And I was like, what's going on? That's kind of weird. Like, where are these even coming from? And so I finally figured it out. That Hotmail address had 55,000 unread emails in it. And so compared to Gmail, where that would be really simple, I would create a search for a domain. I would go at this contains, create filter, apply filter to all previous conversations. I would press one button and everything would be gone. For Hotmail, they have a feature called sweep. So you highlight a message, you press sweep, and then it deletes, and you can select block feature messages, but only that exact matching email address. And I'm sitting here going, why?
A lot of these aren't going to match.
Why? Yeah, a lot of them aren't going to match because...
You need content filters.
These...
That's why I don't have 15,000 emails from CES every year.
Yeah.
It's because of content filters.
Filtering is not just good, it is absolutely necessary. I mean, it's not like I'm saying that Gmail is perfect. In fact, is this ever going to load? There we go. Okay, so I think I can screen share with you guys right now. Should be fine. Yep, all that looks fine. Okay, yep, I'm going to screen share with you guys. So, I mean, there's stuff like this that drives me crazy about, oh, you know what, I am going to make sure of something before I go ahead and start typing. So, no, that's fine. So, okay, well, you know what, forget it. There's a couple things that Gmail does that drives me crazy. Like, if you do a search in the top bar in Gmail for just the sending domain, it doesn't work. And it's just like, really? I can't just search for keyword NVIDIA and have that bring up anyone who emailed? No, it has to actually contain NVIDIA in the body of the email. Another thing is, oh wait, no, I could be wrong. Hold on. No, maybe it's when I start searching for, no, that's fine. Maybe it's, right, yes, that's what it is. When you start typing in the address bar, you can't just type the domain. So if I just type NVIDIA, it doesn't bring up a list of all the people that I've corresponded with who have an email at NVIDIA.com. And I'm kind of sitting here going, why? How is it possible that it doesn't search the entire email address field for something like a keyword like that?
I use that all the time.
So there is stuff that drives me absolutely bananas. Another one that drives me crazy is I email myself a lot. And if I type in, and this is a funny one, if I type in Linus at, it still doesn't come up with my own email address. It still populates with a bunch of other people that are also on my company domain before my own.
Apparently if you go from NVIDIA, it works. But that's just...
That's stupid. Why should I have to do that?
Yeah.
So yes, I'm aware that, I can go on Google and I can go, site : blah, blah, blah. And there are ways to, yes, use search tools much more powerfully, but I really shouldn't have to do something that obvious. So let's go ahead and move on to our next topic here. What is our next topic?
Apple wants to kill free music streaming apps like Spotify ahead of Beats relaunch.
Posted by Tangra. Original article here is also from The Verge.
I don't know whether or not Tangra is like the little fast monkey enemy who's like speedy or like the Tangra, like the big beastly enemy.
Oh, I'm gonna go with irritating. Yeah, Tangra,
irritating little.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with monkey enemy.
Okay.
Yeah. So Apple is apparently pushing music labels to kill free Spotify streaming ahead of the Beats relaunch. So this picture is from the famous picture of some super not hip dudes with at least one dude who is allegedly fairly hip and with it, so to speak. I wouldn't personally know much about the subject, but that's from the acquisition of Beats Audio by Apple, the single largest acquisition they've ever made. And the word on the streets... was that it wasn't about the headphones, it was rather about the Beats music streaming service that Apple wanted to sort of get into that business of and sort of leave behind the more traditional iTunes model where users buy individual songs or they buy albums. So they wanted a competitive streaming service. Now, it is now known that Apple does intend to relaunch that streaming service, and the Spotify is already speaking out about Apple's business tactics for making sure that it doesn't have any free competitors. So Apple is apparently pushing record labels to influence them and to influence their artists to remove the free options, remove their music from free options like Spotify's ad-supported streaming service.
Which has to be one of the least surprising things.
Pretty much ever.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift has actually come out publicly. I think this was a number of months ago, but I can see if I can find the quote. When she didn't put her new album on Spotify, and I think actually pulled her entire back catalog. Yeah, I think her stuff is still on Google Play Music. I don't have a Spotify account, so I can actually I can check that one, but I can't verify. Yeah, so here's the article on the breakup with Spotify. Let's go ahead. And so this is from CNBC, evidently. She's got a good quote in here where basically the long and short of it is, there she is, she's got lipstick on, she's Taylor Swift, that's very interesting. But the long and short of it is, music should have a value. We shouldn't be treating it like it's free, so people should pay for it, and I want to protect the users that spent, $22.99 or whatever it is they spent on the album from feeling like they got a raw deal because someone else can listen to it for free if they're willing to put up with some advertising, which sounds all, fine and good, except that we all know what it's really about. Come on now.
Yes.
And I mean, that's fine. It's not like we're not also about making money for making our content. It's just you might as well at least be honest about it. You should just say, I pulled my music off of Spotify because... Yeah, so Shake It Off. So her latest album is still not on Google Play Music either, so she's reserving it for the album. But her back catalog, I believe, still is available on a paid service, Google Play Music. So yeah, you might as well just be honest about what it is. But that is a direction that I can definitely see more artists getting on board with is, hey, you know what? Let's get people back in the habit of paying for music. Maybe it's less, but maybe it's at least something.
The hard thing here is that there will pretty much always be a service. If someone wants your music for free, there will pretty much always be something. Whether it's YouTube or something else.
Well, apparently Apple's putting pressure on labels to remove free YouTube streaming as well, which is also ad supplemented. So the idea is moving away from ad supported music. And I know that you don't mean YouTube.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. And we might as well just speak frankly. If it is too difficult for someone to get the music in a way that they perceive as free, or if you remove a convenient option like Spotify, because let's face it.
Because buying music in Canada is brutal. Mm-hmm. It actually is. It sucks. Buying an album is really actually difficult to do because most of the album stores don't really exist anymore or in very crappy quantities, and getting an actual album is often not available. You can't just buy the MP3s off of Amazon. Remember I wanted the Arctic Monkeys A&M album?
Yeah, I do remember that.
And someone in the States ended up buying the MP3s and being like, I won't ever listen to them, so they're kind of yours here. And gave them to me, and I was like...
it's like, we haven't actually done this correctly, but I don't know how to tell you this is wrong, because it doesn't feel wrong, does it?
No.
So,
I don't know.
So anyway,
it's just stupid.
So Spotify currently has 60 million users. Only 15 million of them, however, are paid users. And the Beats streaming service is expected to be full of exclusive content. The new streaming service is expected to debut at WWDC in June.
What is WWDC?
Worldwide Developer Conference.
Oh.
And I guess that's pretty much all there is to say about it. I think we got to do like a Twitter Blitz or something for this. So
we can talk about yes.
Yeah, like I want to because I want to hear from you guys. Will you? First, don't tweet me yet because I haven't told you what to tweet yet. I want to hear from Spotify users. I want to hear from paid and free Spotify users specifically. So I do subscribe to a streaming service. I don't qualify. If you're a paid Spotify user, I want to hear what you think about artists locking into exclusivity deals with particular streaming services, because for me personally, a big part of the argument for me paying a monthly subscription to, you know, use my stupid data plan to listen to all of my music, which I'm also paying for, a huge part of the argument is that it's a one-stop shop. I don't want to start subscribing to Google Play Music for my Taylor Swift and Spotify for my Red Hot Chili Peppers and Beats Music for my whatever, because all of a sudden now we're adding up to maybe I'm spending $25, $30 a month. Well, hold on a second. Well, I could just be buying MP3s at $1 a pop the old way for what I'm now paying for a streaming service. And arguably, streaming services do have a value. I find the discoverability of new music is great through a streaming service, because I'll hear all kinds of stuff it never would have even occurred to me to look for before. But if all of a sudden I have to subscribe to a bunch of them, that's just sucky, because then I don't even know, you know, what music accessory to buy, because maybe my Sonos system or my, you know, whatever other, you know, music streaming device supports this one but not the other. Now it turns into a fragmented nightmare. So I want to hear from the paid Spotify users, and I also want to hear from the free Spotify users. Would you guys be willing to pay if the exclusivity thing didn't happen? Would you be willing to pay for Spotify for the same service you enjoy for free now with ads, if it meant that artists like Taylor Swift, or let's say you don't like Taylor Swift, I don't care, it's not the point. Artists that you care about, whose music you want to hear, if they didn't pull their support from the service entirely just for having a free option. So go ahead and start hitting us at Linus Tech on Twitter. Let's start getting those replies in, and then let's go ahead and move into our next topic, and then we'll come back to that.
Yes, okay.
So this is from Alex Goes High, and the article is either straight from the horse's mouth or from The Verge.
The actual straight from them article is quite good, to be completely honest.
So maybe we'll go with that. Bippity boop.
Boop, boop, boop.
Check it out, yo! Are you all butthurt at Steam? Or Valve? Or Valve's Steam? Are you letting off steam about how you feel about Valve?
Or giant bronze statues that I'm kind of happy we didn't make.
Yeah, I'm
now.
really glad we didn't build that thing. Because, like, we wouldn't have managed to... So for those of you who don't know, we had, like a reward tier for a crowdfunding campaign we did a while ago, where the plan was that we would... build a life-size Gay Ben statue, which would have been hilarious. But... by the time we managed to get the thing commissioned, get the artist out here, get the thing actually built, Valve would have gone from, like, you know, the king of the popular gaming companies to... They've been doing a fair bit of digging lately, so... Yeah. All right, so you want an alternative? GOG Galaxy, formerly known as Good Old Games. So Galaxy is their new gaming platform that is, and get this, DRM free, so you can actually have a completely DRM free version of any game that you own on Good Old Games, and you can download that to your computer, play it without DRM, and fully optional gaming client that you can use for games that you buy on GOG.com.
Super cool.
The rebrand is for a reason. So it used to be called Good Old Games because it was all old games. I don't know that they were necessarily all good, but they were definitely all old.
Yep.
But that's not necessarily the case anymore. So a big, major launch title coming up is actually Witcher 3, which is not old. Might not be good. If you're into The Witcher, it's probably good, but personally, I never really got into the whole Witcher thing.
I never super did, but I have a buddy who's it's probably his favorite franchise. I think there's a movie or something, and he's read books, and yeah, so he's really excited about it. There's some really cool features. There's obvious kind of things like optional auto updates and one-click installs, which you'd kind of expect from this. But then there is offline support, which is cool because that's not necessarily true for everything.
And the ability to roll back auto updates is very cool.
Leaving that for the last one.
Were
that was
you?
The coolest thing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Rollback updates is awesome. So their little blurb on this is sometimes game updates break things, which is very true.
GTA 5.
Yeah. Thanks to the built-in rollback feature, you can restore your game to prior states with just a single click. So even if you just didn't like something, if you're like, oh, they rebalanced this way, I'm playing a single-player game and it nerfed my character, I'm just going to keep rolling around with this overpowered character. You just be like, all right, roll back. I think that's pretty cool for, like I just said, a bunch of different reasons. Also, there's a backup copy download, which is cool. Their quote on this is, want to back up your purchases? We get it. For all games, you can download a DRM-free backup installer that you can save to an external disk, drive, or cloud. Also super cool. I love this thing. I'm excited. Honestly, I've been waiting for this for a really long time, so it's pretty cool that it's here. They don't have their in-game overlay working yet, but I have 2 monitors anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. And, get it? Not too worried about it?
I wasn't paying attention to you.
Did you know 2/22/22 is falling on a Tuesday?
No, I didn't.
It is.
Good for you.
Anyways. Crossplay, right. Okay, I wanted to talk about this. Crossplay-enabled games will offer online play between GOG and Steam. So, I don't remember the name of the game, but there's a game that I bought on Kickstarter a while ago, and I cashed in my key before they had Steam keys. So I got a GOG key for it, and then all my friends bought it on Steam, and I wasn't able to play with any of them. And it's like a co-op game, so I haven't even played it at all. And I got it like a really long time ago because I've been waiting for crossplay.
Get wrecked.
So I'm excited for that. It might actually already be able to be done without the launcher, but either way. I don't know. I'm super stoked for this because I think Valve's comfy couch has been getting a little bit too comfy. Yeah. And they've been kind of...
They've sold a lot of hats and they've got a lot of money. And the thing about a lot of money is that it seems to turn into, well, how do we get like more of it so that we can build an even bigger money fort pretty quickly? And it just, I don't know. It just seems like a lot of what I wonder if we've been just misinterpreting Valve all along. Like a lot of what we...
What?
Sorry. A lot of what we've misinterpreted as Valve just generally being good guys is simply Valve being good business guys. So the decisions that they make that please the community, are they doing it because they believe it's the right thing to do, or are they doing it because of, famous quotes like Gabe Newell's, don't do anything, blah, 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 don't lie to the internet because they'll remember and they'll always catch you, etc., etc., etc. Is that advice because that's an ethical, good guy thing to do, or is that advice because...
It's a business thing.
Because your business will not make as much money if you don't do that. So I think there's a lot of room for someone to come in and compete with Valve. I don't think Ubisoft or EA are necessarily the answer. We need a truly third-party service, and that's what's interesting about GOG. Is that they don't make games. So you're not supporting a competitor's platform. EA doesn't have to line Valve's pockets to have their game on Valve's platform, and vice versa. So maybe then we might see a little bit less of the sort of, the Uplay Fortress and the Origin Fortress and the Steam Fortress. Maybe at some point in the future, I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, we will see a bona fide third-party option that these guys can feel comfortable launching their games through. Because there was a time, long, long ago, when game developers were willing to share their profit margins with a retailer. It was a long time ago.
It was,
yeah. So I don't think it's that.
Or EV Games and GameStop.
Oh no! I'm totally wrong. Apparently, it's owned by CD Projekt Red.
That's why I made the weird face.
No, I was wrong. I did not know that. I did not know that GOG was owned by CD Projekt Red.
I actually didn't know it was an ownership either, but I knew they were like super major in cahoots.
That much is apparent. I did not know they owned it. So there you go. There is no... Well, then it's just...
Okay, so CD Projekt owns CD Projekt Red and GOG.
So there you go.
Apparently.
Well, let's move on then.
GG!
Linus's hopeful, future, amazing... So we'll have to wait for something else then.
Well, CD Projekt seems to kind of want to work with people.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because another game developer isn't going to want to line their pockets because we all see what happened that last time that happened. Yay! So let's go ahead and go to that Twitter blitz that I had said that we would do before. So something about Arctic monkeys, yeah. So, no, they should keep the ad-supported tier. Right, but that wasn't really the question. The question was, if they are forced to, would you pay, basically?
The problem is that even when you watch ads, you're not making as much money for that person or platform or whatever you want to call it as you would if you contributed directly.
Very little. Oftentimes, fraction of a cent.
Enough that it can keep them afloat and can probably cover your cost of being on the website.
If their name is Taylor Swift, and a lot of people listen to it, but...
Oh, I meant for just the hosting service.
Oh, I see.
But yeah.
All right. Eric Flood, free Spotify user here. Seems like a complete money grab. Well, yes. Apple's turning into the same institution that they beat. Oh, that is actually a pretty spot on. Yeah, I mean, a big part of Apple's pitch was, oh, blah, 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 the way we've always done this with the incumbents with buying an entire album or buying a single for way too much for one song is stupid. We should do... And Apple, and that's actually really interesting. Apple stuck to their guns about things like the 99-cent song download back in the day, because it's not like there couldn't have been premium songs for $4.99 as a single release, for example, on iTunes. That could have been done, but they held steadfast that a song should cost $1 on the iTunes store. So the whole thing that's a really good point. The whole thing where you had to pay way too much to listen to music did get torn down by Apple, and that was a big step towards online music distribution. So it seems like now that someone else innovated before Apple, they kind of want to dial things back and go back to the old way. Very, very interesting, Mr. Flood. Matthew Harvey says, I'm a free user. Spotify for me is too expensive when I can just watch it on YouTube if it becomes exclusive. Now, something to watch out for, Mr. Harvey, is that the same pressure on Spotify will also be on YouTube for ad-supported music. Yes. With that said, I mean, it's not like Google has made any kind of a particularly well-kept secret out of the fact that they intend to move YouTube towards some kind of a premium platform. Yeah. They already have, I forget what it's called now, but their YouTube Music Pass thing that costs about the same
Music
as...
Key, I think.
Music Key,
or
thank
Pass
you.
Or whatever. Yeah.
I forget what it's called. I think Key
Something
is right.
along those lines.
So, yeah, I wouldn't imagine for a second.
My thing with YouTube, though, with what he's bringing up, is not even necessarily Vivo or like YouTube Music or whatever. It's the like random dude that uploaded the whole album. And no matter how much YouTube wants to like have their algorithms go and take them all out, there always seems to be a few that make it through regardless.
Yeah, which is funny because like I uploaded a video. Actually, it's funny. The Fractal Design Define R4 April Fool's video that we uploaded got flagged for content infringement. And the supposedly infringing part of the video was when the rain was falling on the case at the end of the video. And it was like... it's this song. I'm like, it is not. There is no song. There isn't even any audio in the video at that point. So anyway, it was a video that got like 300,000 views, and the AdSense got ripped off of it. So I was like, can you not, please?
Did they give it back?
I don't know. I didn't look. But by now, no one's gonna watch that video anymore. Like, it's just stupid. So anyway, I don't know. There. It seems to be pretty catch-all-y for certain things.
Yeah.
When I watch YouTube That Matters, I turn off ad block like your case. Okay, that's good.
Thank you.
Not necessarily the topic of conversation right now. For a show about technology, why do you use such a low bitrate and only 30 FPS on Twitch? Well,
Canada.
Yeah, thank you. We're Canadian, and our internet service provider is being a turd. In fact, we've dropped 413 frames on this show alone, and we're only streaming at some pathetic, I think about half of our official rated upload speed, maybe like a third of it.
There's not much we can do about that right now.
We are moving
to
a new office that will have a 200 megabit uplink.
And then we better freaking be able to stream properly.
We're going to stream whatever we please once that happens.
Oh, God.
As a free user, I don't care about the paid service. I just ignore the ads. I think what a lot of you guys are missing is that what's happening is the songs you want to listen to aren't going to be there anymore. So there is no ignoring the ads. It's like the song's not there. So I really wanted to get a feel for whether you guys would be willing to pay as free users, but I think maybe I didn't I didn't succinctly enough make the point
Here,
of what I wanted
you go on to
people
the next thing. I'll see if I can.
Sure. All right. So our next topic for the day: Star Wars Battlefront will not have iron sights, according to EA. So my initial reaction here, and this is like totally a joke and not what I would really expect them to actually do, but can you imagine a Star Wars Battlefront where you had like scenario missions where you've got like a crack team of rebel commandos, like you've got 4 or 6 rebels versus what is it, 20 player or 24 player? Can't remember anymore. Cool. So you had the Imperials, but the Imperials can only hip fire because stormtroopers can't hit anything dirty dirt. So like the rebels can look down a sight, but the stormtroopers just have to be like pew 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 pew. And they have so like that could make for a really fun game mode, right?
That would be hilarious.
And the stormtroopers have really quick respawns, and it's all objective based, right? So the rebels have to plant a bomb in the thing, and stormtroopers
I want to play that
like
now.
their guns jam or whatever. Like you make they're slow moving, they can't see.
They hit their head on doors as they're opening.
Yeah, they can get taken.
Get that
Ewoks jump on them and beat them with like stones, and for some reason
spam F to get rid of Ewok.
Yeah, the armor that they're wearing doesn't do anything for some reason. Like, that would be a super fun game mode.
That would be awesome.
But to just eliminate iron sights in the quote is hilarious.
Does it say we want to be Counter-Strike?
There are no iron sights in Star Wars on the ordinary blasters, Bach said. You have scopes on some rifles, but there are no iron sights. We're not taking into account what we've done before. I think that would be disrespectful to the fans and to what we're trying to achieve here, in response to the fact that their other shooter, Battlefield, does actually, in fact, contain iron sights. A lot of the things you saw in the game have nothing to do with anything we've done before. Some features, of course, resemble our other shooters, because we want to make the best possible shooter, but in general, we've tried to do something completely unique.
Okay.
What did he even say?
He said a whole bunch of bullshit. You've watched the movies a lot, though. Do they aim down the sight of the gun?
Of course they do.
Then who cares?
Not well, to be clear.
Well, okay.
Stormtroopers can't, because the costume prevents them from, like, the chin. You can't get your chin against the gun. But they do hold the gun like this. Now, I actually have, from Shepperton Design Studios, a Stormtrooper blaster that I'm going to go retrieve now while you maybe do another topic or something like that.
Oh,
don't worry, I got this. I'm going to go retrieve my Stormtrooper blaster, and we're going to find out if it has anything on it resembling sights, or if that's even more nonsense than it already appeared to be.
Cool, that's exciting.
I will return.
I would love to do another topic for you guys, but my laptop is completely lagged out.
Just use mine.
All right, I can use Linus's laptop. Oh, fantastic. Oh, there we go. My laptop's working again. Good timing. So we have another topic in here that isn't actually, it doesn't have any notes on it at all, but I'm going to cover it anyways because I just think it's that hilarious. I'm going to try to post it in chat. Let's see if it'll work. Yes. Okay, so jewelers are starting to plate Apple Watches with gold to undercut Apple's pricey edition models. Hilarious. And it looks really good. Like, okay, I don't like gold, to be completely honest. I would actually rather the silvery model one if I wanted one of them. But it looks really good for what it is, and I think that's absolutely hilarious. I don't know how much it costs. Dun, 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 dun. Golden Dreams is apparently one of them, so it costs about $3,500.
Oh, my butt's wet. Oh, not cool.
How much water was that?
Fair bit.
Can I see?
Yeah, here. Just.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So.
That mostly went on your butt too.
Yeah. No, it went like it hit the shirt and kind of went down the pants actually.
Okay, that's good to know. So all the water that's on the couch has actually touched your butt.
Yes.
Nice. Okay.
Yes, it is butt water.
I wanted to make sure that it was at least butt water.
Okay, what are we talking about?
Apple Watch, the guys that are plating it with gold for $3,500.
Yes.
24 karat gold. 24 karat
So-
yellow gold, 18 karat rose gold, or 18 karat white gold.
So there is a less expensive service. The one that we've actually talked to is WatchPlate, which is doing it for $400, which I think is actually a lot more reasonable because when you account for that the Apple Watch has an $85 BOM cost, I think spending
24 karat rose gold or 24 karat yellow gold, which is even better than the spec.
I'm not aware of 24 karat rose gold because like the composition of rose gold, I don't know if it actually allows for 24 karat. Someone tweeted me about this. I didn't look into it any further, but
I don't know much about.
My point is, for something like a mobile device that I realistically you're going to replace at least every couple of generations, I think $700 or $800 total is a lot more reasonable than $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 total, let alone 15 or 17 or however much an edition costs. So I think this is brilliant. A lot of the comments on the thread on the forum were about how Apple is probably going to sue. I don't see how Apple could sue them.
I don't think you can.
That's like Ford suing someone for painting their car.
And they're not selling gold-plated Apple Watches.
That's right.
They're selling the service of gold-plating a Apple Watch.
And I actually talked to WatchPlate, the guy at watchplate.com. I think they're going to send us an Apple Watch for review because we obviously weren't able to get one from Apple because we're us. And it will be, so in much the same way that we do D-brand skinned phones, since D-brand provides our phones, it looks like we're going to do a gold-plated watch, and so we'll work in some messaging about the gold-plated watch and all that. And anyway, so we're probably going to work with those guys on it, and I'm really excited to see it. Anyway, I talked to him, and the background of their company is really interesting. So they actually have other businesses, including something to do with like motorcycles and stuff too. So they're actually not just a fly-by-night like dude in his garage with some chemicals gold-plating things. So that's pretty cool. That's
cool. Yeah.
That's good to know. And he's looked very deeply into the legality of this already, and kind of went,
He's got it covered. This is his process.
Yeah.
You place your order.
Yeah.
You wait for a shipping label, which they will send you. When it comes to you, you package up your watch and ship it to them. They gold plate it and ship it back within 3 days, and then you're done. So they're not actually selling anything to do with the watch other than plating it, and you're allowed to do modifications for things.
Yes. So if they were selling gold-plated watches, then there's a big problem. Especially if they were calling it like, edition watch for, $8.99 or $9.99 or whatever, then it's like there's a trademark infringement. There's all kinds of stuff that Apple can go after them for. Yeah. This just looks like Apple's going to have to shut up and take it on the chin, and there's going to be no actual way to differentiate a gold-plated cheaper watch from an edition watch on the street, and the people who buy edition watches are just going to have to live with that.
Is there, like, under the bottom of the watch, does it actually say edition on it?
Probably.
So, like, I still think those guys that were going to go out of their way to buy a $10,000 watch will probably still do it.
I really wish they'd buy something other than an
I'm just not saying it's a good idea.
Yeah.
I just think they'll actually probably still do it.
I guess why do I care? It's not like I think buying a $10,000 watch is a good idea in the first place.
Yeah, no, I don't. This might even give them more of a reason, because then they can look down on the people. Like, if if you're wearing a gold one and someone else is wearing a gold one, you can be like, oh, well, is it actually an edition? And then if they're like, no, I just got a gold bit, you go, okay, sure, that's fine. I got an actual edition, blah, 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 blah.
I'm on their site right now. I'm looking to see if they show the bottom of it at all. I don't know. Has anyone actually reviewed the edition yet?
I don't know.
I have no idea. I'd love to see a picture of the bottom just so I can find out. Or if there's something in the firmware that tells us it's an edition, like if you can, scroll down to a menu or something. I don't know. I don't see a single picture of the bottom of the watch. It seems like no one's actually that interested in that. That's funny. Anyway, I'm really looking forward to reviewing it. I'm also courtesy of D-Brand, apparently going to be reviewing the MacBook 2015. You know what? Here's the way I'm going to tackle it. There's actually a couple different angles that I have in my mind. So, I'm going to try and use it. I'm going to
I was going to say, the only way I think you can do it is use it and actually see how many times you are unable to use it properly.
Yeah. So, I'm going to keep a tally of the number of times that I needed to. So I'm going to have to use it for an extended period. I actually have a couple ideas of content.
And one
that I
thing
wanna
to
make
keep
with
in
it.
mind is, while I believe that his massacre of the product will be just, he is a cable salad power user. Whenever we're in an airport, there's everything you could possibly connect to everything. Whenever we're anywhere, there's everything you could possibly connect to everything. So it will be somewhat of an extreme case. That's in saying that. Like I said, I still think it's just. But
There's a couple ways it could win me over. There's a couple ways it could convince me. I've heard Apple's touchpads are outstanding. I've used them briefly. I've never owned a MacBook, though, so I've used them. They seem great.
every time I've used them, they seem really good.
I do prefer a mouse in general, but I also have never owned a MacBook. So a mouse is the kind of thing that I very frequently... I carry one in my backpack. I carry a mouse pad. I very frequently plug a mouse into my laptop.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, a lot of us might carry mice and mouse pads, but there's not that many people that do that.
So, I'm going to give it a chance to win me over. I'll give it a chance to win me over, but I'm expecting it to be a massacre.
Well,
but
when I was in school, I carried a mouse and mouse pad to every class.
Yeah, of course.
But, like, that's us. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how many people will do that.
So let's see. We'll see how it goes. But I'm definitely stoked on that. It's definitely going to be a lot of fun.
I also brought my keyboard.
Got a lot of people telling me to... Apparently it says 18K gold on the bottom of the edition.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much.
So if they start engraving them,
Then it's a problem, I guess.
Maybe, I don't know.
No, because you're allowed to engrave
It's
anything
just
you
that-
want.
Yeah, and if you actually spray it with 18K gold, you wouldn't even be lying.
Yeah. It would just say 18. Well, yeah, but I could engrave it with "Made in Space," and it's gray, and that's not an infringement of
Made
any
in
sort.
space, gray, coated with plastic. That would be like 20 karat gold. Like whatever. 24 karat gold.
Okay, so let's move on to our... Oh, no. Let's go back a topic. So this is my E18 blaster. This is from Shepperton Design Studios. They sent this over along with the Stormtrooper armor that we've featured in a couple of our videos in the past. And let's have a look here. So now EA has come out and said that some rifles will have scopes. So sniping, for example, will be possible. You're not going to have to hip fire if you're sniping. But I know for a fact that Han Solo's blaster does have a small scope on it, even if it doesn't have an iron sight. And I now know for a fact that the E11s in the original Star Wars A New Hope have a scope and an iron sight. Right there. So EA straight up lied to us again. There's your iron sight. Yes, you can look down it. If you were, and you can see the way the scope is mounted is on
There you go.
is on a gun rail. That scope comes off. There's your rear. There's your front of the iron sight. Bam. That is not a sniper rifle. That is a standard issue assault rifle, and it has an iron sight. EA QED.
Get wrecked. Get wrecked.
All right. And that's as close to screen authentic as you're going to find. It's not like they just tacked on iron sights for no apparent reason. Oh, yeah, right. We have sponsors for this show. And one
They're
of them
awesome.
is lynda.com. Hey, look at that. We got a new mouse. It works this week.
Oh, yay!
Yay.
I forgot about that.
Lynda.com is used by excuse me.
Used by thousands of millions of people around
Thousands
the world.
of millions?
Except not, because that's a
'Cause
really big number.
That's billions.
You could probably learn about that on lynda.com.
Yeah, you could probably learn some math on lynda.com. All right.
Well, you could learn Excel.
Used by millions of
Which you
people
could
around
use
the
to
world.
calculate
They have more than 3,000 courses available, which is what I guess you were thinking of.
Excel.
They have topics like web development, photography, visual design, business, WordPress, Photoshop.
Excel.
Thank you. And the courses are taught by industry experts. So
Potentially in Excel.
the whole idea behind it is that you get your plan. So they start at $25 a month, and then you learn whatever you want at your own pace, whatever your objective happens to be. You want to get better at your hobby. You want to get better at your job. You want to get a promotion opportunity. You want to start a completely new job altogether. You want to become a freelancer working at home. Lynda.com, I'm not going to say is the answer, but it is sure as heck a place to start. And if you check out our link right here, lynda.com/WAN show, you can try it for free for 2 weeks to find out if it's right for you, if the whole learning at your own pace thing is a good
2
thing.
like business weeks. 10 days.
10 days. Sorry. Yeah, two. Thank you. Business weeks. Let's just call it that. Speaking of business, FreshBooks.com is the online tool for folks who run their own business.
Yes.
So instead of, and I by the way, if your parents are watching, I have now paid the invoice for the copper from your dad's plumbing business, which you haven't. But I'm saying this so that they know that I have done my part of it.
He has disengaged.
So this is the old way. You know, a contractor books a job and they kind of have a vague notion of how many hours they spent on the project. Not that we were being billed hourly anyway, because Luke's dad is a freaking saint and really helped us out with that project.
At like 4 a.m.
Yep. And so you kind of track your hours, you kind of track your materials, you hopefully have your receipts somewhere, and then at the end of it, you hopefully remember to send an invoice in a timely manner, and then the customer hopefully pays you at some point. With FreshBooks, the workflow is simplified. You use the online tool to track things like your hours, track mileage, keep track of all that stuff. It's stored online, so when you're finished the job, it's as simple as boop, email something to the client, get a notification that they've read it, they can pay it by credit card, and instead of, running around dealing with payments and billing, you are running around doing your business. So check out freshbooks.com/WAN if you or anyone you know is looking for a way to simplify your accounting.
And if you do so, try to remember to enter WAN in the How Did You Hear About Us section when you sign up.
Oh, yeah, right. Thank you for that.
Yes.
All right, our last one today is Massdrop, my least favorite sponsor.
What? Oh, because you spend all your money.
Because they take my money.
Yes. And if you want to play Battlefront, you could get the Battle Station bundle to play with Battlefront so you can shoot with iron sights.
All right, so it's dro./WAN show, and the Battle Station bundle is actually looking pretty appealing right about now. Now, when it first launched, it was not at its lowest price, because that's the way that Massdrop works, is they have a price range, and whatever deal they source based on community feedback from the manufacturer starts at the highest price, which is usually moderately discounted or even just a little bit discounted. And then the more people glom onto it, the lower the price drops. And this one is looking like a pretty kick-ass deal because it's already at the lowest price. You guys don't even need to commit to anything. Look at that. They were only projecting 10 to reach the lowest price. There's only 2 days left. They sold 104 of these, so it's an ERGOTech ARM and 3 24-inch LG monitors. And the price is apparently
$539.99
US. So I think I'm seeing Canadian pricing. I'm not signed in.
$539.99 to Canada.
Yeah, I'm not signed in, so it's not. Yeah, so it's $539 to Canada, and then the US pricing right now is hopefully in the dock somewhere. Unless Nick totally... $540 US.
Oh.
Wow, did that say $539 Canadian? What? No, it must be US.
Oh, it's just shipping
plus
to Canada.
Canadian shipping. Okay, so yeah, it's $540 US for a triple monitor ERGOTech ARM and 3 1080p IPS displays. So pretty sick deal. You guys can check that out at drawed/WAN show.
Sign up for Massdrop and check our link, which is the one that he just talked about, for a variety of drops as well.
Oh yeah, they have more than that.
They sell other things.
I usually have that knife. They have like all kinds of cool stuff on there actually. I got an audio recorder so that we don't have to use Brandon's anymore, not that long ago.
That's good.
So that was pretty good. Yeah, it was actually
We've been using
recent.
Brandon's for a really long time.
We've got a rapid fire topic posted by Overlord. Original article here is from Tech Power Up. And Fixstars unveils the highest capacity 2.5-inch SSD yet. 6,000 gigabytes.
What? That's ridiculous. Unknown controller right now.
6 million megabytes.
Keep going.
6 billion kilobytes. 6 trillion bytes.
Whoa.
6 quadrillion tenths of a byte. Which doesn't actually exist because a byte is 8.
Now
8 bits. So you would only have like 0.78 of a bit per tenth of a byte, which is stupid. Sorry, should I...
It is kind of dumb. But it does make sense at a certain point. It's just really annoying to calculate. But not for a computer. Anyways, time to keep going. It has an unknown controller. What's up, Nick? Hey, how's it going?
I'm gonna make this super awkward.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, he's
bringing
getting
us
Linus
water.
That's
What a nice guy.
Thanks, Nick.
Thanks, Nick.
We appreciate
Wow,
you.
he flipped us off.
You know Brandon Appreciation Day is coming? Do you remember that?
Brandon Appreciation Day.
Almost a
Sorry,
year
did I just
ago.
spit?
Almost a year ago, we had Brandon Appreciation Day, where we called Brandon in, and then we're just like, I appreciate you, and then you told me to make a calendar notification for it for the next year. I completely forgot about it, was setting up the garbage calendar schedule, and then saw Brandon Appreciation Day.
Really?
And was like, what the hell is that?
Should we have Brandon Appreciation Day again? When is it?
August 1st.
August 1st.
Which
All
is
right.
a Saturday, but we can just do it on the day before.
Rock on. We should totally do Brandon Appreciation Day this year. Don't tell him.
I asked him what the hell it was. But
Oh,
he
you
doesn't-
asked Brandon what it was.
But because I was like,
Oh.
I don't know what this is. But he doesn't know that we're doing it again.
Oh, I see.
So he'll probably just forget about it.
Okay,
To be
excellent.
completely honest.
All right, so basically the details of that SSD are pretty
Wow, he
straightforward.
just got Linus water.
15 nanometer MLC, MLC flash. The underlying controller is unknown.
Yes.
It saturates a SATA 3 6 gigabit per second interface, 540 megabytes per second read, up to 520 megabytes per second write. It
Not
supports
surprising.
trim. It has a 3-year warranty. No random IOPS specifications are stated. So the idea here is I think that this is not intended to be a high-performance desktop drive. This is a mass storage SSD for some reason.
I would laugh so hard if it was just like this tall.
No, it's not. It's standard. I think.
9.5 millimeters thick.
Standard
Damn.
9.5
I was
millimeter
gonna
thickness.
say like, well, it is 2.5 inch in that dimension. It's just also 3 feet tall.
That would be super awesome to put in your notebook and just have like a 6 terabyte laptop notebook SSD.
It's not going to fit a lot of notebooks, but it'll
Yeah.
fit like some of the like big ones, the really
Yeah.
big ones. Yeah. Like, it
Mind you,
might
even
fit
those
in
are
there.
moving to M.2. Like even MSI's GT80 only
But
had
if
one
you get
2.5
those
inch.
like those little boutique laptops that you can configure like crazy, a lot of times they'll still have big
Yep.
drive areas because you can swap out like your optical drive bay when they're still really big and use that as a drive slot.
That's true. All right, ASUS recalls the MG279Q FreeSync compatible display. This was originally posted by Reigns X, and the original article is from Sweeclockers. This display has been oh, this is Swedish.
That makes sense.
Okay, well, at any rate, I guess I won't be telling you anything while I read it directly off of the not translated for some reason page. So, pretty much, the only English sources right now are apparently forums. So that was actually right in my notes on the topic. Apparently, the display skips every 6th frame, mostly visible during smooth motion at a constant speed, which makes sense.
Oh, okay.
It creates hiccups, and they are withdrawing all MG279Qs from the sales channel. All dissatisfied customers should contact support early next week. The issue should be possible to correct with a new firmware, but they need to be returned to the factory to update with specialized equipment. This is something that I legitimately don't understand. Why is it that monitor manufacturers are afraid to provide firmware update support on them? We're allowed to update the firmware on our motherboards. We can even update firmware on graphics cards if we want.
That doesn't void warranty?
Which?
Graphics card firmware updates.
I think it does. But on a monitor, I don't really understand why they can't just have like a diagnostics only USB port, or better yet, the USB port that's already on there. Have like a diagnostic mode or like a switch
It's
you can
just a
hit or something
hub.
like that.
It doesn't actually connect really to the monitor.
Yeah, I guess that's true. It's just powered.
Yeah.
So, I mean, fine then. Come up with a different way. I don't care. I mean, yeah.
Just some way to do it, that would be cool.
Enough monitors are coming out now. Like, you saw the, what was that stupid, the first FreeSync monitor available? First FreeSync, was it ISO? I can never remember how you're supposed to pronounce it. The first FreeSync monitor for sale. But basically it came without FreeSync support and relied on a firmware update. I can't remember who it was. OC UK, it appears, so it required a firmware update once it was released. So I'm sitting here going, well, Why don't you just actually give us the ability to update the firmware of this card?
I wasn't saying it's not doable. They can't do it through their current USB setup.
Yep.
Because it's just like...
You're 100% right.
Yeah.
Which is the best kind of right.
Yeah.
Tesla now selling used electric cars, posted by Tangra on the forum. Original article here is from the Wall Street Journal.
We kind of already talked about this.
Well, yeah, but you only introed it.
There's not really much else to say.
So pretty much these are going to be cars that are coming off of lease, and they are going to sell them online. Is there anything else we can say?
It's cool. They're certified pre-owned or whatever, which is cool. I don't think there's really a huge discount on a lot of them. I checked out the Vancouver one. Not like I was going to actually buy one just because I was interested. It's still way out of my price range by a lot. But anyways, I was just interested because I was like, hey, because you and me were talking about how the only way we'd probably ever get something like a Tesla is if it was used and way older than it is now.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, okay, where's the landscape now? Still way too far away for both of us, unfortunately. But like the discount was not that high. But then part of the problem is the ones being sold as used on the Vancouver market will have like 5,000 clicks.
Really?
That's it.
What are people doing with them?
That's my point. I don't know. And I'm like, why is this even here? It's barely left the lot. And I'm like, okay, well, of course there's no huge discount. Right. This thing has barely been driven. Like, where's the one with, like, that dude that drives like crazy and racked up, like, 100,000 clicks already?
Yeah, that drives, like, an hour and a half to work and then charges his car and then drives home every day.
Yeah.
Where is that guy? I guess he doesn't have a Tesla.
He hasn't resold it.
I guess he's like, he's a working schmo and can't afford a Tesla, unfortunately.
Yeah, so the Vancouver market is a little bit starving right now. I didn't do a ton of research. Apparently, I think Nick checked out more like the like San Fran one and stuff like that, which will have way more.
Apparently, there's stuff in the program available for between $60,000 to $90,000, which is definitely less than a new Model S.
But still going to be out of a lot of people's price range.
And they are putting a warranty on it, so the certified pre-owned ones are going to have 4-year or 50,000-mile warranties on them, which will last 4 years for your dude over there.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously.
It's currently only available in 11 U.S. cities, apparently. And the cars are coming from display models could be a display model.
Oh, so test drives.
Could be test drives. So there you go.
See, that makes a ton of sense.
All right. So, yeah, I don't really know what else to say about that.
Selling used cars. It's cool, but it's not like, I don't know.
I mean, to put this in perspective, more like the kind of car that I've been shopping for lately is like a beater van for Linus Media Group. I was literally seeing if I could buy a van for like a few $1,000s, and I found a 2002 Honda Odyssey for $3,200 with 185,000 clicks on it or something like that.
Vans are expensive.
Is it minivan?
No, vans in general.
The $3,200, I thought that was pretty good.
That's a lot of mileage.
It's a lot of mileage.
It's good, but it's a lot of mileage.
But considering that it'll basically get driven to and from the office, or not.
Yeah, we wouldn't use it much.
Yeah. So I was thinking, because I don't want something expensive. I want something like super craptastic that I don't even have to lock the doors.
But you can throw a bunch of junk in it whenever we need to move it around.
I'll probably have to lock the doors, because with my car, I'm really not worried about people stealing it. It's a manual, for one thing, which is apparently a huge theft deterrent in North America. And for number two, it's like not useful for smash and grab. It has no cargo capacity. Whereas a lot of people steal minivans so they can smash and grab.
Interesting. I had no idea.
Yeah, that's like a big
thing. That makes sense.
Thing.
It makes a ton of sense.
And because there's so many minivans on the road, like stuff like a Dodge Caravan, for example, is a prime target, because it's like, there's a missing vehicle. It's a, red Dodge Caravan. It's like...
Okay, well, there's...
a lot of those.
A crap ton of them.
Yeah.
And because there's so many, it's probably pretty well documented on how to break into them.
Yep. So all that kind of stuff. So we might actually have to worry about, not having that. But we could park it inside.
I was just going to say we could park it in. It's not like we're going to fill the whole thing.
Yeah, because for those of you who are wanting to see what the new LMG headquarters is looking like, if you snagged a vessel membership back when we announced the free ones during the first few days, then it's already up on Vessel. We have a tour of the new office. And if you haven't, then that's going to be coming to YouTube very, very soon. And it'll give you a really good look at the new Linus Media Group HQ, which I personally think is awesome. And I think is a good opportunity for us to jump into the feedback on the most recent video that we launched on Vessel. Have you read the
some
comments?
guy just posted in the chat, Linus, you can buy our old Chrysler for $1,500, 89k miles.
89,000 miles? Yeah, but miles, you're probably in the States. It's going to be a nightmare getting that car here.
Oh, yeah, no. Good call.
Thank you, though. I sincerely appreciate the offer. But I really...
Importing
yeah.
a vehicle, not a good idea, especially when you're in that low of price. It's not going to be worth it.
Yeah. Thank you, though. Can't say thank you enough. But no thanks.
That's also $1,500 US,
Oh yeah,
which
is
would
like
legitimately turn
$2,000.
into a lot more
Yeah.
once you move it to Canadian.
All right, so let's go ahead and let's fire up. You know, it's really funny because we got so many complaints about not doing unboxings anymore back when we killed them. And we did an unboxing the other day, and okay, A, that's not very many likes, and B, the amount of hate on the unprofessionalism of the video is so there's some people that like it, but here you go. This feels less professional than usual. Here's someone that likes it. Bad sound. This is very disrespectful, rude, and unprofessional.
Disrespectful, wow.
What else we got?
Whoa, I think you should remove the video from here and present your excuses to your fans and followers and to Fractal Design.
Stop rushing.
Wow.
Okay. So, like, some people like it. Some people are like, yeah, he's, you know, who cares? This guy's like, yeah, they're almost always... Why was this unboxing so ghetto and unprofessional?
Was it more ghetto and unprofessional than it normally is? Like, the one guy complained about sound. We should still have good sound, even if it's a...
I thought it was fine. I mean, there was some wind.
I haven't
I was
watched
wearing
it.
a lav, so, like, that's kind of life sometimes.
You guys could have put a windsock on the lav.
But I was wearing it in my shirt. Like, it's not that bad. So, yeah, I don't know. We thought we were, like...
I haven't watched it.
I thought we were, like, doing the right... I thought we were doing the right thing. You know, like, hey, let's bring back unboxings
We also have to
once
wait
in a while.
till it hits YouTube and kind of have to feel it out a little bit more
Yeah.
and whatnot. But yeah, what's the title of it?
But with that said, I mean, the Vessel audience is in some ways going to be, like, sort of the diehards.
hardcores,
Yep,
yeah.
the guys that don't miss a video, even if the video is called, hey, we're launching on a new platform, as opposed to, hey, here's a hot new product you might actually give two cares about. So, yeah, I don't know. I was quite taken aback. Yeah, I got a lot of people saying, like, yeah, it was bad, it was terrible. In fact, the entire Twitch chat has pretty much exploded with people saying, like, it was great, or it was, like, super stupid, it was super terrible. And so I don't know, maybe we'll bring back unboxings as, like, a regular or even once in a while thing. I don't know. I mean, the reality of it is, unboxings are a good way for us to address a product like the Define S, where I could have done a full review. Luke could have done a full review, but the cold hard truth is it's the Define R5.
The full review wouldn't have taken much more time than the unboxing.
It's a Define R5 with no front door and no drive cages in the front and more water cooling radiator spots, sort of, because the Define R5 has them, you just have to pull out the cages. That would have been the review. What else am I supposed to say? The thing, the fact of the matter here is we'll have people complain about us glossing over this product, but then we're gonna have people complain, or worse yet, simply not watch the video when we do, like, a proper, more professional review, as opposed to just goofing around and having some fun with it on a product that just isn't very interesting. So, I don't know.
And when you get to... We've discussed this, but not with necessarily this terminology. When you get to masterful levels in product tiers, like we kind of have
in certain ways with phones, where like you're outpacing what people need or want, other than frickin' batteries. But anyways, that's
he
a whole
means the
different topic.
product, not our reviewing technique.
Yeah. So when the
Just to clarify,
basically,
we're basically masters of reviewing phones, so everyone just needs to
not what I meant at all.
calm their boobies down.
My bad. So basically, when the iterations become much less interesting, it's hard to make an interesting 5 to 7 minute video every time. And sometimes it's actually kind of better to just be like, look, these two things are different. This is a general idea of the product.
You're welcome.
There you go.
All right, people have been demanding a straw poll. The straw poll is here. Got people making good points. If it's not that interesting, why unbox it? Well,
some people are still going to want to see it.
It's a Fractal product. I still don't mind showing it to you guys. It's not a bad case. In fact, there's some really good things about it. I personally don't think that many people need more than 5 mounting points for drives.
I've actually, and I think you have too, struggled with certain ideas where we want to show you guys something, but it would only take 30 seconds to show it to you. So how do we do that? Because if we release a 30-second video...
there's the possibility. What I've done with stuff like that in the past is the Handy Tech series is an interesting way of tackling that.
Yes,
we do
and
multiple.
we often come up with ways and we make it work, but like that is a legitimate problem.
But it's funny because if we pad the content, people complain, and if we make a short piece. Like I did what I called it like a micro review for the Moto E, which was, again, a product I didn't think was particularly interesting, but was relevant from the perspective of, someone who doesn't have a lot of money and is shopping for a phone. So I did what I called a micro review, and then we get people complaining that the content to sponsor spot ratio is not good, and I'm kind of sitting here going, who cares?
Yeah.
Who actually cares?
Yeah.
It's at the end of the video.
And
you don't have to keep watching. We do that out of consideration for you guys.
And it's not a better video if we just write it to be longer and put in filler. It's not a better video. And if there's no point to the content that we're saying, it doesn't make it better. And
I would make the argument that for something like the Define S, the point was the voyage of discovery. That's what people claim to have always liked about the unboxings that we did was, this is the first time I'm seeing it, and here's the process. A lot of the complaints about it are about apparently the way that I handled the case. You know how I handled the case? I lifted it up to shake it to demonstrate that something had come loose inside, and the side panel came off because the screws had come out. Did I handle that case poorly? Who handled that case poorly?
Not him. That's the answer to that question.
So, and people are upset, oh, he's throwing it around. I never threw it around. I dropped the side panel because the side panel screws came out because the captive nubbins on it make it so that only a tiny bit of the threading goes into the side panel. So...
Which is something that is actually really, really hard to capture. That's actually an interesting point. That's really hard to capture in a professional review because when he takes that side panel off, it's not going to be filmed the first time, and it's not going to end up really making it in the video. And then if he claims the side panel came off because the screws are short, then some people will not necessarily believe him, blah, 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 blah.
But with that said, no one would ever open up a case by shaking it, if they were buying it for themselves, and I would make a decision when I'm writing...
But there's always going to be the accidental clumsy, or they bump something or trip on something, and later on, if they're carrying their computer around and their buddy slaps them on the shoulder and is like, "Hey man," and the side panel falls off, I don't know.
Yeah, it seems pretty unlikely. I think what I would probably do when I'm writing that script is I would go, okay, am I actually going to encounter this problem if I'm buying the case?
I haven't seen the unboxing.
Taking it apart. Yeah, no, I shake it around a fair bit. So if I buy the case, I take the side panels off, I put them in the box safely while I, build my computer in it. No, I'm not. So I'm not going to mention that, but it is something that probably should have been addressed. They should have had a longer screw. Anyway, the point is it's just stop spoiling the video. It's just an unboxing. It's the only entertaining thing about the video is just, hey, here's a video, I talk about the product, it's kind of entertaining, I hope. Alright, so let's go ahead and...
What's the straw poll?
Oh.
So, somewhere around...
So the WAN show audience wants somewhere between 77 and 94% in favor of unboxings. With that said, they don't get the kind of viewership that our proper reviews do. So for me, I see it as a way of covering products that I think are interesting enough to make a video, but not interesting enough to spend the hours and hours and hours and hours and hours involved in making one of our normal videos.
Which is why we selected the one we did, to be completely honest.
So let's see. Maybe we'll try it a couple more times, or we'll see how the Define S one goes when we launch it on YouTube and stuff like that.
What about...
Yep, I think we should just try that rather than polling them about it. So we'll just see how it goes.
No.
There was another topic I wanted to hit just now. Nintendo is apparently working on a theme park.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they're joining forces with Universal Parks and Resorts. This is the first ever attractions-based Nintendo thing, and there's no other info. And that's not the actual logo.
Yeah, that's
at all.
Horrible.
That's for a game. I own it. It's actually pretty good.
Okay, so this is...
If you have friends.
The article is pretty much pure speculation. It was posted on the forum by Notional, and I would go.
I would go.
I would go to this versus Disneyland.
Oh, 100%.
I think in terms of relevance to my childhood...
I would be so scared to go, though, because the merch. Oh, the merch. Oh, my financials.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. I mean,
Oh,
Nintendo,
no.
for our generation, I think Nintendo actually has
So much bigger than
more relevance
Oh, yeah.
than Disney.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just trying to think. Like, Disney does a really good job with the princesses, with the little girl demographic. What do they have for the guys? They got Cars, which
Cars is...
crap movie. No, that was merged. Like, Cars everything.
No, but is Cars like a guy-specific thing? It's a guy, technically.
Yeah, I think Cars
You could be a girl and be interested in race cars.
Yeah, you could, but I think that's not when they
lesser percentage.
when they sat down and they had a planning meeting.
Yeah,
For the demographic they're targeting. I don't think little girls was it.
So not Frozen.
So not Frozen. Like what targets little boys? Aladdin was never really merged in the way that something like a Cars or
and it's old. Any of their new
really
stuff,
old.
I don't really know. Back in the day, Aladdin
Got people saying Cars is Pixar. Pixar's owned by Disney. They own Star Wars. Yeah, they own Star Wars, but that's not... I've got someone saying Cars is a great movie. I'm sorry, but Cars has Owen Wilson in it.
I still think you should do your movie review
Nothing
channel.
with Owen Wilson in column does contain also falls into column
You're
is
like
great movie.
A movie rating database. Like, just a database that automatically rates movies based on, like, contains
and if
algorithms.
anyone brings up that Marley and Me atrocity, I don't even want to talk to that person ever again.
Toy Story, okay.
Yeah, but Toy Story was very poorly merged.
Yeah.
Did you ever like?
That's true.
There was some like Toy Story was, and that was pre-Disney ownership, by the way. So Toy Story was a Pixar project that seemed like it was pre-commercial.
Yeah.
Like they used actual toys other than Buzz Lightyear and Woody. So the only merch deal would be things like bedspreads and stickers.
But did they even really sell Woody and
books?
Buzz much?
Not much, as far as I'm aware.
I remember being a kid and being like, the first time I ever saw a Buzz Lightyear toy, I was like, "Whoa, you can get those?"
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like I see these everywhere.
Well, it didn't have the Disney juggernaut merchandising engine.
Meanwhile,
behind
you
it.
can buy like bow and arrow sets from the Hunger Games or whatever, and like you can buy whatever you want for new ones. Like Frozen has everything you could possibly want.
Frozen was such a huge commercial success. You know they're working on the sequel now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they've brought back some of the same folks. I'm stoked for it. I'm gonna watch it.
Frozen was good. The Olaf dude, the dude that runs the shop in the mountains.
Oh, that's the snowman.
What?
Yeah.
Oh no. Okay, so
you
not,
mean the Swedish
not
guy,
Olaf.
right?
The Swedish guy.
Yeah.
Yes. So cool. I love that guy. He made the whole movie for me. Anyways, keep going.
What were we? Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't get it.
Nintendo
Anyway,
Land.
so yeah, Nintendo theme park. I would go. I would take my kids there because it would have a lot more relevance to me. It would be a lot more interesting to me, and it wouldn't just be like...
And they'd still have fun.
Yeah, and they would still have fun.
Because there's rides and
do they care?
shiny things.
Mickey Mouse versus Mario. Mickey Mouse versus Mario. How is that not in a fighting game yet?
Apparently... Apparently, Ryu might be coming to Smash Brothers.
The whole it's so inbred now. Like, when are we gonna get a stormtrooper in Smash Brothers?
That'd be awesome.
Matter of time. Absolute matter of time.
Cool.
Like, it just gets to the point where you add so many characters, it's like completely imbalanced, and and no one even cares anymore. It's just like
People will care. There's a
it in
really
there.
hardcore Smash community.
I know that people will care, but like,
Most people won't care.
if it's something as cool as like we put Darth Vader in Smash Brothers,
One thing that I like
Or like
about
a-
Smash
a Darth Vader
is
Angry
that
Bird
there's the people that care, and there's very specific like
crossover of crossover. Sorry,
Darth
go
Vader
ahead.
Angry Bird. Oh my god. That'd be so ridiculous. There's enough like fine control and specific things that there's people that can care, and there's stuff in the game that caters to them, which is super cool. But it's also so general and easy to pick up that random people can just play it and still have a good time.
Yep.
Unless they're playing against those people, in which case
The hardcores.
it's ridiculous. Yes. Anyways.
We have
Smash is
lost.
cool.
We have lost so many live viewers since I've like stopped talking about topics. We've lost like 300.
Well, we're like done.
Are we? Is there anything else? EVGA is releasing DDR4 memory apparently, and DDR3 memory.
IC enhancers coming to GTA 5 soon, so that's going to be interesting because everyone's going to get banned unless they pirate it, I guess. So, more game developers giving people more reasons to pirate things. Super cool.
Has a black PCB. Evidently carefully selected chips.
That's good.
Sounds delicious.
If they didn't carefully select chips, there might be a Dorito on your RAM.
Yep. Dorito memory.
They should sell. Someone should sell like specifically not carefully selected chips RAM.
They used to.
So there's a chance that when you order it in the mail, you just get a bag of Doritos. But they're super cheap. So it's like a lottery.
Okay, I was trying to have a real
You know, like how in
conversation.
games you can like buy a key to open the box and you get something random? So it's like that, but with real world products. So there's like a 50% chance you get a bag of chips, and there's a 50% chance you get RAM, but it's 55% of the cost of the actual item.
So this is back when they used to actually do that. This is an article from Legit Reviews from back in 2005. This was, wow, almost to the day, 10 years ago. I'm old. Holy crap. I can't believe I remember this. So UTT memory ICs were actually based on the famous
Like the throwaway stuff, wasn't it?
WinBond BH5s. No, they were not throwaway. They were like working chips. So basically, some BH5 dies got like found somewhere, and pretty much what happened was OCZ bought a whack ton of them and released them as VX modules, Voltage Extreme, because the chips weren't... I can't remember exactly what it means. Okay, after they were packaged, they were not speed binned. UTT stands for Untested Memory ICs. They were based off old WinBond die revisions. No one found them. Someone apparently legitimately obtained them. So, OCZ released their Gold VX modules, and pretty much because they weren't speed binned in any way and they weren't sorted, you had to pump. VX stood for Voltage Extreme. You had to pump like obscene amounts of voltage through them, but because they were based on the famous BH5s, which were some of the best, most famous overclocking memory ever, they could still overclock really well if you just fed enough voltage through them. The problem was that they would die at some point. So there you go. So there's a pretty good article. Apparently Mushkin had some red line memory, like sick, like 2226 timings at 3.3 to 3.5 volts, and a big sign on it that says active cooling required. This is like back in the Wild West of like PC hardware.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, anything goes. Forget JDEC specifications. We're going full on UTT. And you know what? I mean, back when the signals were running at much lower frequencies, there was less crosstalk, there was less complexity in the trace designs. Back then, this kind of stuff could actually fly. These days, I don't even recommend. I don't even recommend overclocking memory anymore. I recommend putting it in your system at the speed that it's supposed to run at and leaving it, because it doesn't make a difference to performance anymore anyway. I mean, this was back in the days when you were accessing memory over the front side bus. So you would like overclock the snot out of that, and you needed high-speed memory in order to stay in sync. Like maintaining a 1-to-1 ratio was like a big deal, because all of a sudden you were wasting fewer clock cycles and there was less latency. Like, yeah! And
that's when that kind of stuff was fun.
That was when that kind of stuff actually made an ounce of sense. These days, overclocking memory just gets you random crashes every once in a while.
And higher temperature memory.
Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah, anyways, that was a fun show.
Yeah, so I guess that's pretty much it. Thank you guys very much for tuning in.
Apparently people didn't like my RAM lottery idea.
Your RAM lottery idea?
Yeah.
I wasn't even listening to you. I literally have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you again next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Did people not understand it?
Yeah, I had someone tweet me, what do you mean same bad time, same bad channel? What's wrong with the time and channel?
Bat, like Batman.
It's like the old 70s Batman. So that made me feel old, too.
He's
just
old.
all about the feeling old today.
The best part is he's not actually that old.
I feel old.
You're not technically old enough to have seen that, though.
That's true. I'm old enough that it was rerun on TV, though. I watched it on my TV. But obviously
doesn't
not.
YTV do the, like, super old school rerun thing?
I'm willing to bet they don't still rerun that.
No.
Like, I'm willing to bet their super old reruns are like Bobby's World now.
No.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Alright, because I've seen it.
yeah.
Okay. Oh, it broke. Oh, it didn't. Alright. People are asking for an after party, but my back is sweating. So.
Yeah, and I have a question from Aaron about a video. Nick sent a message about Tesla. Apparently the Model 3 will be unveiled next March. Interesting.
I don't believe rumors anymore. I'll wait till it's unveiled. Sponsors! Remember, if you use all of